All right. Play theme music. Randy Newman. Hey, I'm Dustin. And I'm his cousin. We play games where the cats play cousin. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm Dustin.
And I'm Corey.
And we are the Couch Play Cousins. Today's topic, we're talking about new technologies in the gaming space. Yeah. Which is a little bit kind of sort of what we talked about, I guess, in our Back in Our Day episode.
We're rehashing old content already. We've hit the bottom of the barrel.
You know what? This is what they call a throwaway episode. But you know
Stick around.
Screw you. We have to do this every week, okay? We're going to run out of shit. So yeah, but today we're going to be drinking ourselves some fine Bombay gin.
Yes. Very exotic sounding.
Which Corey gave me a history lesson on earlier, and apparently this is medicine. So.
Yes. If you drink enough of it, you'll be really healthy.
Literal medicine. So hear that, kids? Drink gin, you'll live forever. Okay, so yeah, let's get into it. So new technologies in gaming, right? Because since we're getting older,
absolutely.
Like I think this is like we're probably gonna have some thoughts on this, but like we're stuck. I think we get stuck a lot about like how things used to be and everything. But at the same time, we try to embrace. You know?
Yeah.
I think so. Like you got like PSVR and stuff like that. Like we're trying to get into things.
Yeah, try new experiences.
We're trying some new tricks for some old dogs.
We're definitely not stingy. We're willing to feel things out. Depends on
especially those pointy boobs. Aha! And another reference to the same podcast. Okay, so so let's kick things off because this is something I could go off on.
Already going off?
Yeah, I'm already popping off. So, resolutions, right? Like, because we're in this world right now of everyone talking about 4K. Yeah. And now we're actually starting to look into 8K, which is fucking crazy because we just started talking about 4K and now we're already moving on to 8K. But let me just say, my asshole puckers every time I hear somebody mention, like, just say the word 4K. I don't know what it is, but it's like becoming like this mild trigger word for me. and admittedly, like maybe I work in the like TV, video, film, day to day. Like that's what I do.
You have extensive knowledge on this, like just personally, where I'm just kind of like, okay, 4K, I guess that means more pixels for my eyeballs.
Right. But yeah, so you're like the more consumer.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what? Like, I don't, and it's not even necessarily a thing about like the actual technology itself. It's more like I look at this stuff through the lens of practicality. With a lot of these technologies, like you have to be so close and like the screen has to be so big. And the other big thing is that for resolutions to really be effective, you have to start looking at those frame rates. So I think they said like 4K, you need at least 60, if not 120 frames per second.
Most
before you lose
TVs can't even
blur.
reach 120.
Right.
Like that's like computer monitor level like stuff.
And then you got to start talking about how fast our eyes actually can read something.
Yeah.
But
science.
Yeah. Yeah, well, 24 frames per second has been like the film industry standard. And that's because those intermittent frames, it's enough that gives us the motion that we need, but it also allows for your brain to sort of connect the dots and also immerse yourself with your imagination into the film. And don't quote me on any of this, but like there is a purpose to that. Like I actually so talking about frame rate and the intent of the direction. Like actually, let's look at a game like the Uncharted collection.
Okay,
or we were talking about that earlier.
The post-it card
not in this
background.
podcast, but like on the side and
amazing visuals.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I feel like the HD collection doesn't feel as good to me as the originals do, and that's because the HD collection is in 60 frames.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's why do you feel that way? Because you think the HD collection would be like better?
It's that smooth motion, that sort of real life smooth motion, rather than like the 24. I think it was actually 30 frames that the original had was more film like. So especially when you're blending a game like that's very cinematic in nature, that frame rate actually lent itself. That lesser frame rate was actually a positive. And especially when you're in a single player campaign, like where reactionary times don't matter, like you don't need 60 frames per second.
I don't know. Like you just mentioned all the frames per second and things like that. And I always thought that was kind of like, a leg up for PCs. Because you could have this bitchin' like Xbox Series X, is amazing, but most TVs aren't marketing above like 60. What's the
Well, right, and I think like we speaking about like monitors and everything, and like if you do get like a monitor that supports like up to like 244 hertz, like the refresh rate, like you start talking about an expense.
Yeah,
right?
like $800. That's
right,
what I spent on mine.
And I think like to a certain degree, like how many like is this even the right target audience for that? Like, can gamers like on average afford to pay these premium prices to get because you have to have the refresh rate to support the frame rate.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually like kind of like a bigger issue. Like when we're talking about resolutions, because don't even get me started on 8K. It's fucking ridiculous. Like we just like figured out all the nuances of 4K, and we're going to talk about like 8K resolutions. Like, get the fuck out of here.
I feel like it's that meme where that guy's like with his girlfriend, but he's staring over his shoulder at that other hot chick walking by, and like he's walking with 4K and 8K. He's like walking there, and he's like, "Hey, baby," and it's like I haven't got a chance to like get to second base with 4K yet. Yeah. And 8K is already trying to tickle my fancy. I'm like, whoa, 8K, I'm in a relationship right now with my expensive ass TV. What are you trying to do?
Damn, you got a nice ass.
Yeah. Home wrecker, Mike. You know what I mean? It's like that's how I feel with technology is nowadays. You haven't even like snuggled into the first one. The second one's like, but look at that ass.
Well, we're in this technology race in today's day and age where we're kind of tripping all over ourselves, right? We're constantly trying to get the new thing before we actually perfect the latest thing. And I think that's probably going to be the overall theme of everything that we talk about now. But yeah, like, I mean, that being said, I think there's certain positives that come out of today's day and age, right? Like they're like beyond resolutions. Okay.
Yeah.
We have HDR.
Okay.
HDR is cool. Like I think expanding dynamic range. That's what HDR is, right? Okay. Because most modern HD TVs would get about 10 stops of dynamic range, and HDR is now pushing that towards like 10 or 11 or whatever it is.
You're saying a whole lot of fucking words.
Yeah, and I don't even have the facts in front of me, so like some of this might be out my ass. And but basically, it's just the lightness and darkness value, and nowadays we have OLED TVs, so like we can really benefit from that. And there's some negative connotations that come with that, but I'll steer clear of those, right?
Eye damage.
Yeah, I don't want to get too nerdy. I don't want to get too preachy. But HDR is relatively, I think most people would agree that HDR is a pretty positive technology. And ray tracing, right? Like ray tracing's cool, I think, to a certain degree.
I think it's a new and upcoming thing that's I'd say what came out like two years ago, maybe. Yeah. It's what's pushed these RTX cards, and it's one of the main reasons why I got an RTX one. I know the 1080s, the 1080 Ti's are pretty top notch.
Yes,
but I kind of took a step back with a 2070 RTX. But I wanted to experience that, the light refraction, because I saw a lot of videos on how like really light the technology that's been outplayed with light right now, and it's. The way it affects games, especially games where light is important, like horror games, it really changed the dynamic completely. Yeah, it really bogs down your PC. I went from like 120 or 165 hertz, or I'm sorry, 120 frames per second, but I dropped. I went straight down to 60. It taxes your system like tremendously. But boy, does it make for a really good game. I wouldn't play it competitively like, oh, look at all these beautiful, explosions going off while I'm getting lit up by other players, but a good horror game.
Yeah.
I think, your ray tracing and things like that really will, play an effect, but I think it needs some work. I think it messes with your PC a little bit.
The problem I have with like these new technologies, right? Because I'm not saying that these new technologies are bad. I just think that we're playing so much catch up to them because these new technologies are taking such a toll on the hardware. So, and we'll get there a little bit too. Like we'll dive in, we'll talk about a little bit about like AR or VR and stuff like that. And I think like when you start getting into that, you start looking into like the technical limitations, like the hardware limitations that sort of hold back some of these technologies. And ray tracing is one of them. Like, and frame rate even. Like the higher the frame rate, the more like memory processing power that you need to have.
I got a perfect experience right now, man. So I was playing with a VR headset recently. I went for the PS4 Pro. standard, cables galore.
Fucking yuppie.
I got all the stuffs.
PSVR, by the way, is like you like literally when I'm playing PSVR, I feel like I'm like a predator.
Yeah.
Like I got all the fucking cables coming out of the
Again,
back of
not
my
Chris
head.
Henson Predator, but like chasing Danny Glover on a rooftop Predator.
Yes.
But yeah, he's right. You got cables going. You're fucking Keanu Reeves from the Matrix.
Cables coming out the urethra.
You wake up and you're pulling cables out of your neck and everything.
Yeah.
But it's a cable fucking mess. But what I was trying to allude to is that VR headset, while it gives tremendous experiences, I had a rough one. The frame rate dropped just out of the blue, and it made me like nauseous.
Oh
like,
yeah, motion
nauseous.
sickness.
And I didn't realize what was going on until I looked it up, and it was actually the frame rate drop
Oh wow.
going on, and I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
But so I think that's a kind of a big crux
Yeah.
in the whole VR system. If you can't keep a sustainable frame rate,
Yeah.
it's a motion sickness machine.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's like it's bogged down by the hardware. And that all comes to like we're chasing this technology dragon where like all these companies like Sony, Microsoft, they're all pushing. They're like, hey, like check out these new technologies, but we're not quite there yet. It's like glorified tech demos, but it's just like, but they cost like mainstream prices. And
I think I spent $350, and I got my PlayStation VR whenever they were hard to find.
Yeah,
it was the niche cool thing.
Yeah.
And being the technophile that I am, I sorted one out, but it was really freaking expensive.
Yeah.
And I can't say I want to say I regret the purchase, because I have had one shining experience from it, and that was the Resident Evil Biohazard game.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
It was really good. I played a couple minutes on it. And regular sticks controller, and I was like, okay, standard horror game, not too bad. But you throw the headset on that game, and you could see other like influencers or whatever the fuck you want to call them. But you play that game, just try it. Do like 5 minutes sticks, rest of the game with headset on, and it is a completely different experience.
Oh yeah,
things that aren't even registering as scary.
Yeah,
with the controller are really scary.
Oh yeah,
with that headset on.
Well, okay. So, like you mentioned, like RE7, which was fantastic. I remember I first played at your house. I played that demo where you're like fucking all chained to the chair, and oh my gosh, like the girl creeps around the edge of it. That was like a legitimately
you can see her
horrifying experience.
Yeah,
I like that scared the shit out of me. Way more than like if it wasn't in a VR, like way more than previous experience like Survivor horror games had. And then when I played the actual game, like even though like you guys were in the room, I still felt like isolated, like no. And then you guys got all silent. I was like, "Fuck you guys!" Like,
it's super weird.
Yeah,
how VR does that. You could be around people and feel completely immersed. Your brain does funky things.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of I think a point we're kind of come across organically here is horror games in VR.
I think that's a great way to approach VR like currently. But I think even like where I was going to go with that is like so Resident Evil is a great game, right? But like I actually struggle to find struggle to sort of isolate any other major VR experiences that I can really highly recommend to anyone, because like most of the time I think like VR, like the problem is like a lot of these games are like they're fun for an hour, maybe 2, but then you're bored.
Like you really last that long anyways.
Yeah, like you just get kind of like sick of them, and again, like I think a lot of that comes down to the hardware and software. Like I mean, like there's probably so many technical limitations that they can only do so much, or the development time might take so much time that they scale back on a lot of it, and then you end up with this half-assed experience. But then they're charging sometimes full game, cost for it. Not to mention the actual cost of the VR headset itself.
And really, you can only keep that damn thing on for so long before you start sweating. There's
true.
There's other facets about this,
or even just feeling too isolated. Like you're just like, I need to see what's going on around.
It is a claustrophobic feeling.
Yeah. But I am interested to see where it's going. But like again, like right now, and again, I think this is going to be kind of a general theme, is that I feel like we're just kind of fucking trying to catch up to what this is. Like we have all these technological advances today, but we just don't have the mechanical or creative oomph.
Companies are constantly trying to produce new technology that's unfounded so quickly that they aren't trying to, utilize good technology now that's, they could catch up on. It's that hype-driven economy. It sucks. But speaking of like VR, kind of like a hop from that, that Google Lens thing. What is it?
HoloLens.
HoloLens. Fuck.
Yeah.
I keep forgetting what it's called. HoloLens.
Yep.
The wave of the future. I saw a tech demo of that where they're playing Minecraft or something.
Yeah, they had it on like the table where you could actually like walk around it and like duck under and like look into the caves and shit like that.
Someone was playing the game where the other person was kind of like interacting with them from the outside. It kind of give you like a deity complex a little bit. I will crush you. But I thought it was neat. But it was a tabletop demo.
Yeah, and it's sort of like, I think a lot of these, like VR and AR, like I'm actually very interested in AR, augmented reality. I think like, because you imagine like we talk about like Resident Evil and VR, like can you imagine like a fucking zombie coming down your actual staircase in your home?
I can imagine the property damage that would result from that.
And then like with this 3D audio that we have, like you blast them with a shotgun, you get fucking tinnitus because it's like way too fucking loud.
Cops show up. What are you doing? It's like, I'm sorry. It's like, did you really need to discharge your handgun into the wall there? It's like, it was really real. It was really real.
It felt so real.
It felt so real.
But I am interested in that, but I just think that we're so far technologically away from where that is actually being something that's like the Black Mirror episode where like you really, with like the spider with the dicks coming out of its face.
Remember that? It's like, turns out you're dead all along.
He's like, I'm fucked up. That's in my mind. So like, I think that like, we're so far away from that, but like I'm interested to see where the future of it is. But for right now, we're sort of in that tech demo stage.
So it sounds like you kind of just want a really bad acid trip. It's like, fuck gaming. I'm just gonna do acid and just hope for the worst.
From now on, we're not gonna drink for these podcasts. We're gonna drop acid.
Start fighting the microphone.
Also medicinal. But yeah, no, I think that we're a little far off from that. And in the meantime, like while that shit develops, like looking at these like other like even the resolution game, like how many sacrifices are being made to the mechanics and the playability of these games in order to hit these high end assets.
You're right. What game was I thinking about recently? Had tank controls in it. It was
Knack 2.
Yeah, totally. Really. Red Dead
Redemption 2.
Red Dead Redemption 2. Beautiful game.
Beautiful.
Went for the hyper realistic, but the controls they at what point does the mechanics actually separate you from realism when they attempt to be realistic?
Like when they try to render it so realistically that when you turn your character, he's like, yeah, I gotta fucking swing his arm, he's gotta swing his leg around. Yeah. And it almost takes you a full second to take a turn. But that's not what it feels like in real life.
In real life, you'd be quick about it. That's why I was always like, why does this feel sluggish?
Right. And that's not what, and that's especially, even if that was what you want in real life, like that's not a special or feel in real life. That's especially not what you want in a video game.
Yeah, I want to be a badass.
Yeah, I want to turn on a dime.
Exactly.
I want to defy physics. But it's funny because like we're talking about these like all these new technologies and everything that's out there. But let's look at something. You ready for this? I'm going to mention Nintendo in 3, 2.
No.
But like, why is something like the Switch? Why is the Switch so successful? Because if all
people like you with your fucking hard-ons that never shut the fuck up about it.
Stop looking at my boner. If all these new technologies and everything are so important and everything, and that's what we're chasing, then why is something like the Switch so successful? Because Nintendo and these consoles, like they're throwback, like the graphics, they're not technically advanced and everything. Like they may have some like motion control gimmicks and shit, but like ultimately, like what is it that they're doing? They're appealing to what it is that gamers truly are in need of right now.
Well, I think first, before I respond to that, I think the only thing we can figure out is that Dustin will only be satisfied now if you have a Switch in your hand.
Yes.
Every single one of you.
Do you even?
If you do not have a Switch in your hand right now, he will not shut up.
I'm a little bit of a Nintendo fanboy.
But no, I think you hit something there, and I will agree with your Switchitude.
Oh boy.
I think it's an access thing. Because I think, and that makes me think eerily of mobile gaming. but at a higher quality and better mechanics. I think the Switch has got, of course, Zelda. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because every time I look at him,
how dare you laugh at Zelda?
He just giggles like a schoolgirl.
I get super excited. Zelda.
But it has better mechanics, and it's a full-fledged system where you see these mobile-based games.
Yeah,
it's accessibility. People want to, I think, play these games when they want, how they want, and I do think the Switch is kind of cornered a market about a console that does do that.
Well, you see a lot of these ripoffs now with the Alienware UFO. I think that you're going to see more copycats like that in the future because people do want that accessibility, as you say, and that's why I think one of the most successful technologies that we have, right? Because we're making this push for VR, right? This big push for VR and 4K.
Yeah.
And yet they're not selling as well as like what they would have you believe or want you to believe. Whereas something like the Switch or even cloud-based technology.
I'm just questioning you. Was the Switch did it beat the PS4? Okay.
No, the PS4 is still like. I mean, the PS4 and the PS2 are like still like kings of the castle.
Okay. I was wondering because I saw news about it. The first quarter sales. It was something about first quarter sales about introduction of the system.
Yeah, they're on track to like compete for sure, and they definitely beat out the bitch ass Wii U, and they're like coming close to like the Wii territory.
What about Dreamcast? Is Dreamcast still in there?
God, they won't even come close to the legend that is Dreamcast.
Gone but not forgotten.
I love you, Dreamcast. I really do love Dreamcast. All jokes aside, Spawn on Dreamcast was life.
Yeah,
and Blitz.
Blitz.
But yeah, no, I think like cloud technology, right? Like because we're talking about like what that accessibility that gamers want, and right now we're seeing like that push for VR and everything, but like I actually see cloud being the most successful thing coming up because it targets that accessibility factor.
Oh, it's true. Microsoft's been pushing that technology for last I wouldn't say a decade, but they really got a hard on for that. XCloud.
There's another technology. There's another company out there that's trying.
Sony?
No.
No, is it some other PC?
No. Come on, you know who I'm talking about.
I'm drawing a fucking blank.
Google Stadia.
Sorry, you're the butt of a lot of our jokes.
Google is the butt of a lot, but you know what?
Buy us anytime, baby.
The thing is Google Stadia is on the right track. The problem is it's just awful execution, just terrible.
I want you to pay for this and that, and
they want you to pay for a subscription and the game. Like, are you fucking out of your mind?
It's like getting a reach around, but with no lube. It's just dry. It's exciting at first. You're like, wow, this is different. But then you realize they have sandpaper in their hands.
Oh, you know what? Pinocchio would find that pleasure. But yeah, so I do think that like cloud game, like XCloud, I'm increasingly intrigued.
Microsoft is going somewhere interesting, I think.
Yeah, I love the idea of being able to play Microsoft franchise, not only on my PC at home, but then being able to take it with XCloud. And then, plus, not to mention with XCloud, you don't have to worry about spending $2,000 on a PC or spending $500 on a new Xbox. If you have a decent internet connection, you can play it.
Here comes
the gin coming back up. You can play it wherever you're at.
And I'm wondering, that Xbox Scarlet. It's it's an intermediary system they're coming out with. It's purely...
Wait. Scarlet was Xbox One X.
No, actually, Scarlet. From what I understand, it's the
Scorpio was okay.
Scorpio,
I fucked them up.
Scarlet.
I fucked them up.
Is the new console coming out? It has no ports. It has no really functionality other than streaming.
It's like a disc. Yeah,
it's a streaming box. But I'm wondering if that's what they're trying to push.
Doesn't that seem senseless? Like, because if you can stream on any device, why would you buy a console that's a streaming device?
Well, with this, Eric, this particular streaming device, you get access to the Xbox system. That's the only thing. You get it's kind of like a Steam box. I don't know if you ever watched it. It was kind of like Steam's attempt at making that, but it's the same thing. It's Xbox version of a Steam box.
Yeah,
but I think, but it is also it's cheap. as opposed to the Series X coming out, which is going to be probably about $450 ballpark. This is
I would say anywhere from $400 to $500 would be my guess.
This Steam or streaming box, Xbox Scarlet, I think is probably going to run you about $300.
Yeah,
it's gonna all you need is this thing and that Xbox. What's that program they have where you get access to all the fucking games?
Well, it's just going to be the Microsoft XCloud, or I'm sorry, the Microsoft Game Pass.
Yeah, all you need is that little thing and your Game Pass, and you have access to all their games.
Yeah,
and even any games coming out. So it's cheaper. I think the graphics and the hardware side of it are pretty decent. It's not Series X decent, but for a cheap thing and saving all your shelf space that we talked about in the last episode.
Yeah.
Maybe not a bad idea. We talked about cost before. It might be a little bit of an appealing option.
Well, yeah, and I think as games and as things get more and more expensive, I mean, even like if you're trying to do reviews and stuff all those games add up.
They do.
So the idea of spending just paying a subscription to have access to all these things is really intriguing. I mean, I know that there's such a thing as the subscription fatigue.
Yeah.
But I do think that the future is, at least the immediate future is, the forecast is a little cloudy.
Pun intended. But yeah, I think you're right. I think it's going to be all streaming and cloud.
Yeah.
I think people are going to have to start becoming very quickly selective over their subscription services. I think cable's dead. I think cable is super dead.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think we're going to be paying subscriptions for just whatever channel we want.
Yeah.
And they're going to be vying for, our attention.
Mm-hmm.
We're the cutest girl at the ball.
Yeah.
And they want us.
Well, you know what? You actually made a point earlier and you said about mobile gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that because those two things kind of merge themselves, right? Because you're going to have cloud gaming and you have mobile gaming. I see so many kids playing mobile games nowadays.
Oh, yeah. I've watched some kids... And this is how crazy it is. They'll find a mobile game. They'll play till they die, which is very quickly, and then they'll have to watch
I thought you were talking about the kids.
Literally, yeah.
They'll play till they're dead.
They're 20 years later, they're in their wheelchair, and then the game finally
they don't live very long. 20 years later,
the game finally lets them go just so they can accept death. No, when they respawn, let's get nerd about it. Whenever they die and respawn, before they're allowed to respawn, they have to watch 2 ads. They literally injected ads into a lot of these games now, these mobile games, where so they're free to play. Oh yeah, they're free.
Yeah.
But if you want to keep playing the game, you have to watch these 30-second ads every single fucking time you want to replay something. Our kids growing up are being conditioned that this is okay.
Wow,
Think about that.
Wow, you went in a whole nother direction, and I was prepared to focus in. And you're talking
about.
I know.
Fuck you.
Well, I mean, is there an option to pay to remove those ads?
I think for real money.
Yeah, because there's usually the free app, and then there's the pay. But I guess my focus was more specific to the fact that mobile games in general are a very, very high grossing economy, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of kids are playing mobile games, and you start tying that to the cloud-based system that's out there, then it sort of becomes, why need systems? Why need any of this?
You're raising a good point.
And even if you can, you could even have the peripherals to attach these phones into VR kits and stuff like that. And
there's controller systems you can attach to them now.
Yep.
I've seen adapters for them. But what makes me come to this? You talk about this, Fortnite.
Oh God!
Yeah, the cancer of the gaming world. Started from humble beginnings and spread to literally every single device. I mean every device. You can play this game. You could pick it up like Google Stadia, and you can pick Fortnite up, and you can play your Fortnite wherever you want. But it just goes to show you that our phones are powerful enough to play pretty decent graphical games. Now, granted, it's cel shaded. Yeah. It's not too demanding.
Yeah.
But I played it. It's It's a pretty.
I've seen some phone games out there that like some of the graphics are pretty impressive, and again, like you start talking about like the next couple of years, 3 to 5 years. Like I think these phone games are gonna get pretty serious.
You have 5G coming out too.
Yeah, like I'm not advocating for mobile.
Oh no, I think mobile gaming is a fucking cancer.
Yeah, but like at the same time, like I do see why a lot of people are navigating, especially older people, like older, like adults. Like I know we talk about kids playing games, but like because of the attention spans and stuff. But like even adults, like how we're affected with our time and availability. Like sometimes it's easiest just to like pop on a mobile game. But I do see, and that's all the more reason why I see the cloud being such a staple in the future. Like I see that being a real immediate future in the gaming world, because if I can play something like Halo Infinite when I'm out and about, or like when I'm on my lunch break at work or something like that, as long as you have a decent internet connection, like I can see why that's incredibly intriguing, especially if you have the peripheral and all you have to take around with you is a controller.
I agree. And I think they're gonna, find some way of working with that small screen space on your phone. My idea is in the future, that you're gonna have a one-stop shop. I think you're gonna have something more along the lines of it's not quite a phone, it's not quite a game console, but I think you've got something more hitting all across the board. But I kind of digress from that. But I think.
So you're talking about like sort of like some sort of home integration. Well, I guess like multi device integration experience. Like you can play on your phone and then you can send it to your TV at home or whatever it is.
Yeah, it hits like everything.
Yeah. So it's sort of like
hits your fucking wall.
It's like the Switch times like 10.
Yeah, like you can cast it to your TV, you can cast it to your phone, you can take it on the go, you can attach controllers to it. We talked about augmented reality, maybe throw some fucking sunglasses on that son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm talking about...
play it while you're driving.
You can play it while you're driving.
Just on your windshield.
You think DUIs are bad when that guy's chasing a fucking demon into the other lane.
It's on like that Senate console. He's like, ah!
Whenever he's trying to get that next level and he's already like in your other car.
Cop pulls you over like, sir, do you know why you pulled you over? Yeah, because I fucking died to this level 3 gnome. And he's like, oh, I know what you mean. I fucking just...
This noob pushed me into the other fucking lane. But I think that we're gonna push technology into extreme accessibility. I think we're going to hit the point where we're casting it onto everything. And it's not going to be your consoles anymore. I think consoles are going to, and this is my conjecture, but I think the next wave of consoles are the last ones.
Oh, okay.
I truly believe that. I think the PS5 and I think Xbox Series X.
That's the end of it.
I think it is. I think it's going to be the end of... And it's not in a dire way.
Just like home console.
Home console.
So if I'm conjecting on this now, but like you think, so basically after the PS5 and then the new Xbox, it's going to kind of come down to like PlayStation and Xbox have their own streaming, their own subscription.
Netflix, Hulu.
Their own subscription that you pay for, and then it's like, fuck the console. Like you got whatever you need right here, and it's on our servers.
Exactly. I think it's going to be, technology, I think the hardware side of technology is going to catch up to the point where you will eventually cast this thing literally onto maybe a smart TV. Maybe they're going to market a smart TV that has such good frame rate and everything like that, and everything attached to it, that you'll be able to do everything. Yeah. I think the future in the next 5 years, console life is about a decade. I think we've factored it in. About the shortest console life I think was, and I can't ballpark figure the name of it, but I think it was like three or 4 years.
Yeah.
So I think within less than a decade, we're going to have the end of consoles and more of a one-stop shop. Whether it's a TV, whether it's something you carry in your hands, it's going to be something.
Well, you know what? I expand on that. I agree with you. I think that this is going to be sort of like
Bet
it's
you
almost
fucking
gonna
agree with me, you son of a bitch.
I think it's going to be like a very cloud-based system where like everything's sort of interconnected. And I think that like I think that we will get to a point where we sort of have like we sort of paint our houses with
Smart paint.
smart paint.
Smart paint.
Where like you can send an image from your phone or whatever device you're on right to your wall, and you can scale it to whatever.
You're giving conspiracy theorists a fucking nightmare right now. My paint's looking at me right now. I swear to God.
Ew. Yeah, maybe. But like you could literally like you'll be able to sort of scale and transfer all your experiences wherever and to what size and scale, like whatever it is that you want. You'll be able to transfer those experiences to anything. So I do think that we're getting to, or we will get to a point where that's sort of like the future. And again, like I almost see that as being like a more practical approach than something like VR. Even though I am very interested in VR and AR, I just think that like you hit the nail on the head whenever you said like accessibility, and I think that's really what people want, because at the end of the day, like the older that we get, the busier we get, whatever it is, and like being able to,
do a lunch shift and play with your friends online.
Yeah, or just go the fuck outside and have a real life, kids.
What is sunlight?
But yeah, I think that I do think that we are going to get, and I actually had like another, like I always thought it would be cool if we had sort of like, how like Universal has those like little rides that you like get in and they like vibrate and they like massage your butt.
It's not 3D, it's 4D rides.
Yeah. So like, you sort of have this like real visual experience and stuff. Like I almost like think it would be cool if they like sold like sort of home. Well, I don't know. Like maybe that's not even necessary.
I know what you're talking about. I went to Universal. It's been a minute. But I went to something. It was called like Alien Escape or something like that.
Oh, shit. Sounds scary.
Oh, super scary. No, not really. But the thing had the 3D glasses. They were chintzy. Those chintzy 3D glasses. But I can imagine upscale. Mm-hmm. But the seat had this weird air vent that like let the alien breathe in the back of your neck. The seat rumbled. Water would drip on your face. Not get water. Nobody wants to get wet.
Right.
Giggity. But I see what you're talking about. Maybe like a chair or something like that.
A lazy boy.
Super lazy boy.
Like there's so many kids that like are listening. What the fuck's a lazy boy?
No.
You mean gamer chair?
No, back in our day, there was this thing called a lazy boy.
You'd pull a lever and your feet would be supported.
Amazing technology, I know. But no, wait, what kind of, it had to have some kind of like feedback though.
Haptic.
Haptic feedback. To get you like kind of going, but that was VR.
Well, like I said, but like imagine like if you were playing like a roller coaster tycoon or like a theme SimCity theme park or whatever. Remember those games? I can't remember.
Yeah. Sim Coaster.
No, Sim Theme Park.
Sim Theme Park.
Yeah, where but you could ride the actual roller coasters. Like imagine like riding that and you're like sitting in this little like lazy boy gamer chair thing, and like it had that haptic feedback where you felt like all the little subtle vibrations in your butt. And I know you could probably get dirty with these games, but
Pornhub.
Yeah. And then like you get to the top and then you go down and then all of a sudden it blows you or. It blows wind in your face, you perverts. And then like, like that combined with the VR experience of like the headset that you might be wearing, you get those butterflies, you get the little vibrations, like you really get your marbles rolling.
I think you hit something on the head because I had that bad VR experience. And when I looked it up, what people were saying was with the frame rate drop and stuff like that, your brain thinks you're moving. But your body says, no, we're not doing anything. So I think something feedback-wise, physically, haptic-wise, I think it's a next big thing in technology. I think we have the sight now in games.
Yeah.
We have VR, but we don't have the haptic feedback in VR. We don't have. I think that might be another big step.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. I do see that, but I do think that like again, like I'm very interested in where we're going from a VR and an AR perspective, but I do think that like currently cloud gaming is more of an immediate future, and I do see like a more integrated experience. I guess is where we're going with that. More
integrated experience.
Integrated
how
experience.
How integrated are we talking about?
Well, I mean, I guess the sky is what's the fucking saying? I'm like
Sky is the limit?
Sky is the limit.
So you're telling me, so you think that eventually one day someone's gonna be playing a game and they're gonna be completely like physically immersed in a game?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's where we'd want to be. I think that's where the gaming industry wants you to be.
Okay.
Complete immersion.
Okay. So we as humans, we have this weird thing where we.
Oh my god! I'm looking at your face, and I'm like, we're seriously concerned.
No, I'm being honest. It's the only reason why Pornhub exists.
Okay, now I'm really concerned.
We put carnal pleasures into games. Intimacy. I played 100 hours in Witcher. I know what's going on in these games.
Oh boy.
And I'm just saying, at what point do we have carnal relations with these games? Do you think it's ever going to get to that point?
Like sex.
Sex robots.
We're talking about like having sex with robots, basically. So like, I mean, I guess you can do some funny things with haptic feedback, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm sure that I feel like we're starting to get into like the porn industry at this point, but like,
you think
bear in mind, like, although I may disagree with you, sir, as I have my dick inside this Bombay bottle. No, well, sure, but I think at the, I don't know what kind of
think
context.
About this. The porn industry is the precursor to all other industries when it comes to technology. When it comes to image, they're the first persons to experiment with resolution. They're the first persons to really experiment with VR to a certain extent heavily.
Yeah,
they were.
That's true.
I'm just saying. With porn comes technology, and there's a reason because of that. We're human. We have certain urges. I'm trying to come across a certain PC as possible. Sometimes you see that video game character and you're like, oh.
I'm still trying to relate how the game turns into you fucking a robot. Like,
whoa.
Like, okay.
So I'm not saying you're having sex with a robot. I'm saying like. Why would they introduce all these? Look at Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk's coming out soon. Mm-hmm. Why would they introduce the ability for you to have sex with characters?
Do they?
Yes, they already verified it.
Oh, really? Day one purchase.
Yes. Sold. And their stock skyrockets.
I'll take 5.
But look at games like this. Games like The Witcher. Games like Grand Theft Auto. You can have sex with the prostitutes and then you can run them over and get your money back. It's the most economical way. But I'm saying is human nature always shines through in these instances. And eventually we're going to want to have sex with it.
You want like you just want the lazy boy to have a cocksucking feature.
Hey, we're not gender specific here. I want women to be empowered as well, okay? We will have a machine that works for everybody. President
Corey's over here like, so I was just thinking, this is random, top of my head. I never thought about this for a minute in my life, but sex with a robot.
It's the next logical step. But what I'm saying in the end is
the face that you're making makes me not convinced that this is the better for mankind. This is just a personal thing.
It's really gonna delve us down into like just mediocrity. Why is Timmy not coming out? Oh, he's having busy, having sex with his PlayStation. He doesn't want to see you anymore.
In like 5 years, like, hey, it's just Dustin today. Corey's having sex with his robot.
He would have really loved to meet you, but...
And I'm here because even my robot didn't agree to have sex with me.
It's amazing how reality bleeds into...
Well, that's all we have for you this week, friends. If you want to connect with us, you can follow us on Twitter at couch_cousins, or you can check us out on Twitch. We stream every other Saturday. But if you missed it, we will be reposting it to YouTube, so there you go. As always, the biggest, sexiest thing that you can do is just spread the word.
Like the zombie plague.
or whatever disease you're gonna get from these like sex robots. That's what-
HPV.
yeah, just tell the world we're coming.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Later, guys.